Later, Gadadha, Sadiq, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, Text 13. Ekadashi Mahasatra
एकदा आसीत् महासत्र
Diksha Tatra Divokasham
दीक्षा तत्र दिवोकसाम्
Samajo Brahmarshinam Cha
समाजो ब्रह्म ऋषीणां च
Rajar Rishinam Cha Sattamam.
राजर्षीणां च सत्तमः.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Once upon a time, King Pṛthu initiated the performance of a very great sacrifice in which great saintly sages, brahmanas, demigods from higher planetary systems, and great saintly kings known as Raja Rishis all assembled together. In this verse, the most significant point is that although King Pṛthu's residential quarters were in India, between the rivers Ganges and Yamuna, the demigods also participated in the great sacrifice he performed. This indicates that formerly the demigods used to come to this planet. Similarly, great personalities like Arjuna and Yudhishthira and many others used to visit higher planetary systems. Thus, there was interplanetary communication via suitable airplanes and space vehicles. So, the demigods are personally coming to take part in the sacrifices. And in the age of Kali, of course, when two things are said, that the demigods don't come here, but then also it's said that the demigods are waiting in line to take birth on this earth planet in this Kali. They're waiting in line because they can easily get Krishna prema. The Lord Chaitanya has given us this easy method of chanting Hare Krishna and getting Krishna prema. So they are waiting in line. But if there's, the ritualistic sacrifices performed, they don't come. That's why it's futile. Tasmin arhatsu sarveshu.
Tasmin arhas
अर्हत्
sarveshu
सर्वेषु
So architeshu yatharhata.
swa architeshu yatharhatah
Uthita sadaso madhye.
utita sadaso madhe
मध्ये
Taranam uddurad iva.
taranam udurat iva.
उतुराष्ट्वः.
In that great assembly, Maharaj Pṛthu first of all worshipped all the respectable visitors according to their respective positions. After this, he stood up in the midst of the assembly, and it appeared that the full moon had arisen amongst the stars. According to the Vedic system, the reception of great exalted personalities as arranged by Pṛthu Maharaj in that great sacrificial arena is very important. The first procedure in receiving guests is to wash their feet. And it is learned from Vedic literature. At one time, when Mahārāja Yudhishthira performed a Rajasuya Yajna, Krishna took charge of washing the feet of the visitors. We can see Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And yet he's taking this position that he himself said, I will wash the feet of all the guests who are coming to take part in the Rajasuya Yajna. That is Krishna. And we might say, oh, why should I wash someone's feet? But here is God. And he is asking for the service. Krishna. Similarly, Maharaj Pṛthu also arranged for the proper reception of the demigods, the saintly sages, the brahmanas, and the great kings. Pramshu Pinna Yadavajo.
Ram Shupin Ayato Bhujo.
Gaura Kanjaru Nikshana.
Gaurah Kanja Arunishanaha.
Sunasa Sumukha Samya.
Sunasa Samukha Samya.
Vinamsa Su Vijasmitaha.
Vinamsa Sudvija Smitaha.
King Pṛthu's body was tall and sturdy, and his complexion was fair. His arms were full and broad, and his eyes as bright as the rising sun. His nose was straight, his face very beautiful, and his personality great. His teeth were set beautifully in his smiling face. Amongst the four social orders, Brahmanas, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras, the Kshatriyas, both men and women, are generally very beautiful. So among all the four Varnas, it seems the Kshatriyas are more beautiful. As will be apparent from the following verses, it is to be concluded that not only were Mahārāja Pṛthu's bodily features attractive, as described here, but he had specific auspicious signs on his bodily construction. So because he is an incarnation of God, so there are certain marks on the body, auspicious marks. As it is said, the face is the index of the mind. One's mental constitution is exhibited by his facial features. Face is the index of the mind. The bodily features of a particular person are exhibited in accordance with his past deeds. For according to one's past deeds, his next bodily features, whether in human society, animal society, or demigod society, are determined. This is proof of the transmigration of the soul through different types of bodies. And so Prabhupada is pointing out that since what we are thinking is reflected on our face, then of course, according to what we are doing also, we are getting the next body, human body or animal body or the other body. Yuddha Bhaksha Bhrat Shornir
Vyutta Bhaksha
Brihat Shoni.
Vishuni
Vali Valgu Dalodara
Vali Valgudalodara
Udara.
Avartanabhir Ojasvi
Avarta Nabir Ojasvi
Ojasvi.
Kanchanodur Udagrapa.
Kanchanorur
Guru.
Udagrapad.
The chest of Mahārāja Pṛthu was very broad, his waist was very thick, his abdomen wrinkled by lines of skin, resembled in construction of a leaf of a banyan tree. His navel was coiled and deep, his thighs were of a golden hue, and his instep was arched. I was just thinking when I read the abdomen wrinkled by lines of skin. Now we see the movie stars, when they show the abdomen, they have the six pack. Anyway. Sukshma Vakra Sitasnigdha
Sukshma Vakra Sita Snigdha
Murdhaja Kambukandara
Murdaja Kambu Kandara.
Bukandaraha
Mahadhane Dukulagre
Mahadhani
Mahadhane Tukulakre
Paridhayo Paviyacha.
Paridhayopaviyacha.
The black slick hair on his head was very fine and curly, and his neck, like a conch shell, was decorated with auspicious lines. He wore a very valuable dhoti, and there was a nice wrapper on the upper part of his body. Vyanjita Shesha Gatra Shir
Vyajita
Vyajita Gatrashi
Niyame Nyasta Bhushana.
Niyame Nyasta Bhushana
Krishna Jinadhara Shriman
Krishna Jinadhara Shriman
Ushapani Kritochita.
Ushapani Kritochita.
As Maharaj Pṛthu was being initiated to perform the sacrifice, he had to leave aside his valuable dress, and therefore his natural bodily beauty was visible. It was very pleasing to see him put on a black deerskin and wear a ring of kusha grass on his finger, for this increased the natural beauty of his body. It appears that Maharaj Pṛthu observed all the regulative principles before he performed the sacrifice. So it seems you have to wear special clothes while performing the sacrifice. Black deerskin, ring of kusha grass. Shishira snigdha taraksha.
Shishira Snigdha
Samaikshata samantata.
Samantata
Uchivan idam urvesha.
Uchivan idam urvishaha
Sada samharshayan iva.
Sada samharshayan iva.
Just to encourage the members of the assembly and to enhance their pleasure, King Pṛthu glanced over them with eyes that seemed like stars in the sky wet with dew. He then spoke to them in a great voice. Charu chitra padam slakshnam.
Charu chitra padam slakshnam
Mrishtam gudam aviklavam.
Mristam gudam aviklavam
Sarvesha upakaram.
Sarvesham upakarartham
Tada ano vadan iva.
Tata anuvadan iva.
Maharaj Pṛthu's speech was very beautiful, full of metaphorical language, clearly understandable and very pleasing to hear. His words were all grave and certain. It appears that when he spoke, he expressed his personal realization of the absolute truth in order to benefit all who were present. Maharaj Pṛthu was beautiful in his external bodily features, and his speech was also very glorious in all respects. His words, which were nicely composed in highly metaphorical ornamental language, were pleasing to hear and were not only mellow, but also very clearly understandable and without doubt or ambiguity. So he's speaking clearly, not, sometimes we may speak something which may in fact confuse other people, which may not clarify. But here he's speaking clear, without any duplicity, without any ambiguity, like people could think it this way or that way. No, just straight. Rajovacha
Rajovacha
Sabhya Shrunata Bhadram Vam
Sabhya Shrunata Bhadram Vaha
Sadhavo Ya Iha Gata
Sadhavo ya iha gataha
Tatsu Jigyasu Bir Dharmam
Tatsu jignasu dharmam
Avedyam Swamanishitam.
Avidyam swamanisitam.
King Pṛthu said, O gentle members of the assembly, may all good fortune be upon you. May all of you great souls who have come to attend this meeting kindly hear my prayer attentively. A person who is actually inquisitive must present his decision before an assembly of noble men. In these words, the word sadhava, all great souls, is very significant. When a person is very great and famous, many unscrupulous persons become his enemies, for envy is the nature of materialists. It's true. We see someone doing better than us, it may create some kind of a restlessness in our heart. That, oh, but I'm better than this person. Why is he or she getting so much fame? And envy is usually amongst people that we feel we could compare ourselves with, not who are really greater than us or who are really uh, less than us. Usually it's among peers or of the same level. In any meeting, there are different classes of men, and therefore it is to be supposed that because Pṛthu Maharaj was very great, he must have had several enemies present in the assembly, although they could not express themselves. Maharaj Pṛthu, however, was concerned with persons who were gentle, and therefore he first addressed all the honest persons, not caring for the envious. He did not, however, present himself as a royal authority empowered to command everyone, for he wanted to present his statement in humble submission before the assembly of great sages and saintly persons. So he's not, saying that, oh, just because I'm the emperor, so everyone should listen to me. He's not coming from there. He's coming from a place of humility. As a great king of the entire world, he could have given them orders, but he was so humble, meek, and honest that he presented his statement for approval in order to clarify his mature decision. So the way he's saying it is he's speaking his realization with humility, and he's waiting for the authorities to what do you say affirm what he's saying. Everyone within this material world is conditioned by the modes of material nature and therefore has four defects. But although Pṛthu Maharaj was above all these, still like an ordinary conditioned soul, he presented his statements to the great souls, sages, and saintly persons present there. So Pṛthu Maharaj is not under the modes of nature. We read that a few days ago because he's an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. He's above the modes. He's a pure devotee. He's specifically empowered by the Lord. So he does not have the four defects that we conditioned souls have. Aham danda dharo raja
Aham Dandadharo Raja
Raja
prajanam iha yojita
Prajanam iyo yojita
rakshita vriddhida sveshu
Rakshita
Rakshita Vrita
Vritashu
Seshu
Sweshu
setushu sthapita prithak.
Seshu
Seshu
Sthapita
Pita
Prita.
Pṛthu continued, by the grace of the Supreme Lord, I've been appointed the king of this planet, and I carry the scepter to rule the citizens, protect them from all danger, and give them employment according to their respective positions in the social order established by the conjunction. A king is supposed to be appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to look after the interests of this particular planet. So here Pṛthu Maharaj, he's saying that I'm the king by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So it's a service that he's doing. He has to rule the citizens, he has to protect them, give them employment, make sure the social order is going on nicely. So he's not saying that, he's not. Usually, what might happen to us is if we are put in a powerful position, we might let the power get to our head, become egoistic or something. Oh, I'm so powerful. But here, Pṛthu Maharaj, he's being an example, humble, meek, gentle. He's the emperor of the world. And yet he's approaching the assembly in great humility. Total contrast from his father, Vena. Vena was proud, cruel. So on every planet, there is a predominating person, just as we now see that in every country, there is a president. If one is president or king, it should be understood that this opportunity has been given to him by the Supreme Lord. According to the Vedic system, the king is considered a representative of Godhead and is offered respects by the citizens as God in the human form of life. Why is the king considered representative of God?
Because he
he's
sees the
supposed.
well-being.
I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Because he takes care of the well-being of all the citizens.
That's right.
And
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, and you were saying something else,
and also make them spiritually strong. I mean, revive
yeah, help them in their spiritual
them in their
advancement.
spiritual. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Actually, according to Vedic information, the Supreme Lord maintains all living entities and especially human beings to elevate them to the highest perfection. After many, many births and lower species, when a living entity evolves to the human form of life, and in particular to the civilized human form of life, his society must be divided into 4 gradations as ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnya Maya Shrishta, etc. The 4 social orders, the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras, are natural divisions of human society. And as declared by Pṛthu Mahārāja, every man in his respective social order must have proper employment for his livelihood. So we see Vedic society, people who are having their jobs or careers or whatever to do according to the natural inclination. What one has the natural talent, what he is good at, that's what they will do. Not that everyone has to study the same, because each of us are different, and then everyone has to work in a particular field. No. It is the duty of the king or the government to ensure that the people observe the social order and that they are also employed in their respective occupational duties. In modern times, since the protection of the government or the king has been withdrawn, social order has practically collapsed. No one knows who is a Brahmana, who is a Kshatriya, who is a Vaishya, or who is a Shudra. And people claim to belong to a particular social order by birthright only. It's true, no? Because our natural talents or natural tendencies are not given encouragement to develop. We are not given the proper environment to develop what we are good at, and so ends up being confused. Because the varnas are not supposed to be according to birth, it's supposed to be according to guna, one's nature. It is the duty of the government to re-establish social order in terms of occupational duties and the modes of material nature, but that will make the entire world population actually civilized. If it does not observe the institutional functions of the 4 social orders, human society is no better than animal society, in which there is never tranquility, peace, and prosperity, but only chaos and confusion. Mahārāja Pṛthu, as an ideal king, strictly observed the maintenance of the Vedic social order. Prajayate iti praja. The word praja refers to one who takes birth. Therefore, Pṛthu Mahārāja guaranteed protection for prajanam, all living entities who took birth in his kingdom. Praja refers not only to human beings, but also to animals, trees, and every other living entity. You see, we think that the citizen of the country is only the human being. We forget that even the animals are living entities, the trees, the plants, the insects, the birds, the fish, they're all living entities. So they all are citizens of the particular country, and they all need protection and maintenance. It is the duty of the king to give all living entities protection and food. The fools and rascals of modern society have no knowledge of the extent of the responsibility of the government. Animals are also citizens of the land in which they happen to be born, and they also have the right to continue their existence at the cost of the Supreme Lord. Now, like the pets, the pets also have their passport, right? Whichever country they are born in. So they'll have a passport issued of that country. So not only the pets are the citizen of that country, but also the other animals. The cows, the pigs, the chicken, they're also citizens. The disturbance of the animal population by wholesale slaughter produces a catastrophic future reaction for the butcher in his land and his government. Any questions or comments? Okay. Thank you so much for listening and joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.